So there's this thing called a time crystal. Its history contains many raised eyebrows, doubts, and infinite astonishment because its existence changed the laws of physics.
Let's travel back to 2012 when MIT professor Frank Wilczek came up with the concept of time crystals. In theory, it is a crystal that moves on its own. The laws of thermodynamics, which states that energy or momentum must be conserved unless influenced by another force, was kinda thrown overboard in this theory. Let's experiment on a module. As shown, it starts to move at its own accord as I leave it to be. I'm not putting any force on it, so technically the atom should be stationary. This atom is an exception because its atoms continue to wriggle and starts crack in all directions. This concept is known as continuous symmetry breaking. But does it actually prove that time crystals break the laws of thermodynamics or not? In 2016, Christopher Monroe from the University of Maryland created the first ever time crystal. Multiple eons placed in a line in the middle of our colossal magnet radiation spinning 360 degrees. Meanwhile, two laser beams, one at each end, blasted through the center of the eons, creating a repeating pulse. And this footage will look something like this. They hyperlapse all the possible movements of the line of eons, making the eons repeat their activities infinitely. This became a new form of an element called non-equivalent matter. With Ooga Booga Caveman's brain, physicists went further on this to speculate the time crystal's nature. Regular crystals atoms contain highly organized structure of atoms of a uniform structure. An example would be a basic cubic crystal, but maybe time crystals are repeating themselves in time as well as space. Picture yourself in an elevator and imagine two sets of mirrors on your right and left. Now, the elevator you are in currently is your space-time, and you can move anywhere inside it. Now, look in the mirror, and you will see infinite views on the other side. The reflection, including you, will be the timeline of your universe. Now, imagine the time crystals being across the reflections, infinitely through time. And of course, on the other side, the time crystal position will be different. It can be moving, it can be stationary, it can even not exist. And all those energy and momentum from infinite reflections of the mirror is being crammed inside the crystal in the elevator.
And what would happen is just what would happen if you shake a cola bottle with a lid.
Explodes with the movements of the eons, making the crystal move. This idea triggered the general physicists to a brainwave of future possibilities. One idea is that we could change the time crystal's quantum properties, otherwise known as quantum computing, to store large sums of data inside. Another idea is that we can use it to find the very history and future of the universe, and countless more. But to be honest, I think the most intriguing part of the time crystal is that it breaks our physics and knowledge to be part of our reality, telling us that the most important moment is the present time and space.